Right. Hello and welcome, FPL managers, and welcome to the Zonal Weakness by Corner Football Fantasy, powered by Fantasy Football Scout. I hope you all had good game week. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to be optimistic here, but I hope everyone had a good game week. But tonight, before we get ahead with the Zonal Weakness for Game Week 12, FPL Wrangler joins me to discuss the Game Week 12. Welcome, FPL Wrangler.
Hi Nadim, how are you?
I'm good, all good. How are you?
I'm doing good. How was your game week? It was a very shambolic game week for everyone. So how was yours?
My one was good. You can see by the smile. No?
That's
I
good.
played Johnston. I played Johnston, so that's where the
Oh, I
difference
see.
was. Yeah.
That's good.
So Johnston gave me the 9 points. So that's what got me the green arrow, not the red arrow. But yeah, beside that, I think yeah, I think everything else was average.
That's
Yeah,
good.
but
That's
I
good.
think Johnston did well. So that's the thing. How was yours?
It was. I mean, I would say good for me too because getting a green arrow in this bad game week is always good. So
Yeah.
actually, Palmer saved me in the last game. So I had Palmer. So I had Gehi too from Crystal Palace, but again, Palmer was my like hero. So yeah, it was. I mean, I can't complain. It was good overall.
Me neither. Me
Yeah.
neither. I cannot complain in any way. But I hope all the audience watching right now, you also had a good game week. But in case you didn't, let's get into the zonal game mix 12 so that you can find some players or options that you might think would allow you to get that differential, and then you probably have a good gaming and kind of go with a bit of peace of mind into the international break. Yeah, so let's get straight into the zonal weakness for gaming 12. Okay, so this is of course it is, and before we proceed, please do give us a follow on Twitter and like on Facebook, and of course subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's where we are doing the zonal weakness. And of course, if you are interested in looking in all the zonal data for all the teams, uh, YouTube is the place that you will get to see. Twitter is where we share a portion of it. So please feel free to subscribe in case you're interested in following all the teams and the zonal data for all the teams. Yeah. And of course, the zonal data comes from the Fantasy Football Scout members area. And if you're interested in the membership, please do click in the link in the description section and you'll get a 30% discount. Time is really running out. It's a worth investment. It's really worth the investment. And I think you should just do it. And of course, the link is down below. So do not wait. Just go ahead. And I'm sure you would not be disappointed with the amount of data that you can do, the analysis that you can do, and of course, the way you can play the game. It's a completely different way of playing the game than right. Let's move on to the game week, and this is the transfer suggestions, of course, that we made in game week 8, and it was none other than Watkins. So, Wrangler, what do you think about the transfer option or the transfer suggestion that we made?
Of course, I mean, last week also we reviewed like all of your transfers that you suggested really, ticked along. And Watkins of also, I think like, game week 8 and 9 had good returns. 10 and 11, I would say, like it's unlucky, especially the owners, because Luton at home and then Nottingham Forest, you expect them to do good, like Villa and Watkins essentially should get return, but I don't know if like well, Nottingham Forest actually is very good in home, by the way. So, so
Yeah,
far in last 8 PL games in home, they didn't like they were unbeaten. Okay, so something
yeah.
to think about. But overall, I don't know if something like low block versus high block, if something there like where Watkins might struggle. I'm not sure, but again, we have a good gaming again for Villa and Watkins, so we just look forward to it. But overall it's a good suggestion, and I think owners were unlucky, but we should not always judge based on the outcome. So
Right. No, I think you raised a very important point there about the low blocks and the mid blocks. And I think if you look at it carefully, you see that Wolves plays as a mid block. And I think there's a very interesting research and graph that was done by your team, FPL Radar. And there we kind of saw that, the teams that are playing mid block, the teams that are playing high block, and of course, or high pressing, and the teams that were playing actually low blocks. And if you look at it, you'd see Luton and Nottingham Forest are the ones who are playing low blocks, whereas West Ham is kind of in the mid block. Wolves is also in the mid block. So that kind of clearly indicates that Watkins does not really get the space to run and space to maneuver and also to take the shot. So that's why I think he struggled against Luton, and I think he struggled a bit against Nottingham Forest. But with others, where he got the space to maneuver and space to run behind the defense, you can clearly see he has exploited it quite well. So thanks to FPL Radar. In case the FPL managers you are not following it, please do give them a follow. Right? Okay, so let's move to the next one, and of course that's the real zonal table. And let's see what this week brings us. Here it is. So what stands out, brother?
So looks like in this game week we have lots of good matchups. Because a lot of big teams are playing against weaker sides. And that's why you see lots of whites here because there are lots of good matchups here, right? So first team is Newcastle. So they are playing at home versus Bournemouth. So Newcastle at home is essentially it's a different beast. We know that, and now playing versus Bournemouth could be even kind of a massacre for in that game. But they have a lot of injury issues going on. That's another thing, right? I mean, we also see in the mid game week they were lost to Dortmund. Now they played a very high intensity game in the previous game week against Arsenal, so there might be some fatigue going on, lots of injuries there. But again, zonal wise, Wilson looks like has good matchup. Now he came out yesterday with some tight hamstring. Now we have to see the pressure, to decide. But again, the good matchup is there. Now, if Wilson doesn't play, then Gordon might be. It could be a good opportunity for Gordon to play in the number 9. There is a rumor there too. So, and Gordon has also a very good matchup, right? So who has Gordon?
Yeah,
I think it's a. I mean, he's an enabler. I think he's now 5.6 or 7, right? So cheap. And if he's playing for a good team, he's playing in the upfront. So I think it's just a gift, right? So that's
yeah,
one thing. And definitely Trippier is always Trippier, right? If you see in the left flank, that's where Bournemouth is considering the highest chances crosses, right? And Trippier will be always there. Like it's always like if any clean sheet, Trippier always 9, right? 6+3, and any
yeah,
return is 12, right? So yeah, I think it's a very good matchup for Newcastle boys. And then I would like to bring Liverpool boys here and Brentford. Overall, they look good defensively, but again, in last game week also you suggested, you remember,
mm,
in their left flank,
Bowen.
yeah, Bowen was suggested, and looks like Bowen got returned there too, right? So and
Yeah,
actually Brentford considered a lot of chances. Looks like that game was like 3-2, and both of them had XG considered approximately 2. So you can see both teams was kind of open too, right? But I think Salah might be able to exploit that again versus Brentford. That's I can see, right? And Liverpool was unlucky; they couldn't win in the last game, although they had like around three ish xg, right? So I think
yeah,
this game again, Salah might be again back, and Luis Diaz, he is back, right? I think after all of these issues that he had with his family, now he's back, and
yeah.
I think again. Right flank of Brentford looks like is considering chances. So Diaz is a good shout too, right? Uh, and Uber differential is Trent, right? I mean, as you see again, in terms of crosses considered. So it's difficult to accommodate all the premiums, but again, if you have Trent, I think he's a very good shout. He's a very good differential now, actually. He and even Van der Beek as well. Uh, sorry, Van Dijk. So um, next is Nketiah versus Burnley, right? He already had 21 pointer just week before, and looks like Burnley is considering chances in the middle where Nketiah is expected to play, right? And Jesus is not. I mean, looks like Jesus is gonna be back after the international break, at least whatever we see. But Nketiah could be. I mean, at least for next game week, Nketiah should be good. So that's one. Um, Luton versus Man United. That's again another good matchup. Now Man United has not been really good even whenever they played versus Sheffield. It looks like they played versus a very big team, right? Sheffield seemed to look a very good team whenever they play against Man United. But again, I mean the matchup is
No
there, right?
comments on that.
Yeah, the matchup is there, right?
Yeah,
So I guess like Bruno Fernandes, he already got, I mean, got a goal in last game. Although it's like kick, shot from the outside of the box. But again, uh, I think it's a very good matchup for all the Man United boys. So I don't suggest people to bring them, but again, they are good hold. If you have them, I think it's a good hold. This fixture is very good for them, right? Uh, Otherwise, I think again I want to highlight Watkins here. So again, they have a good matchup, and Fulham. Now, if you bring that like low block, high block thing, I think Fulham is kind of front foot team, and they are not
Yeah.
low block;
Mid
they are
block.
kind of
Yeah.
mid block. So Watkins should be able to exploit that. And one thing I wanted to mention, like in the Luton game, I mean, although Watkins couldn't get return, I think he had a lot of big chances, like one or two big chances he actually missed. So could have been different. Whatever you suggested, I think it could be really like ticking along, to be honest, but it was just unfortunate. Otherwise, I don't know. Wolves versus Spurs, it's a good matchup for Johnson, right? But there are lots of injuries going on there for the Spurs team, so we have to see the pressure. But again, Johnson and Son looks like they have a good chemistry going on, so I hope they will do good versus Wolves. So yeah, that's overall, like in this
Yeah.
chart looks like.
No, I think I just want to make a shout out to one of the players that you might just keep an eye on. It's Almiron, of course, and those who have yet transferred out Neto or someone like that. Or if you have many injuries and you don't have money either and you're kind of short of budget, I think Almiron is someone that you should just keep an eye on. Just he's ticking along, by the way. He's
Almiron
just
is
ticking along.
6.5 though, right? Around.
I think so. I think so, but
Okay.
I think his price dropped, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure, but yeah, in case people are not paying attention, what I'm trying to really
Mhm.
suggest is that people should start slowly paying attention and keep an eye on Almiron. Not that I'm asking people to go for Almiron at this stage, but I think they should just keep an eye on.
Yeah, even last season as
Yeah,
well, right? I mean, Almiron actually had a good run, good streak, and I don't know how many people were able to catch that, right? And whenever you
yeah.
get him, and then he didn't return any. So
Yeah,
yeah,
the
I
guy
think.
who makes the zonal, he actually got, I think, he said it, and then 1 week later, Almiron scored, and then he's like, okay, now I'm good. And I
It's
think
a
he
good
got the
shout.
full streak except 1 week.
It's a
Except
good
one
shout.
week, he wasn't able to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move the next slide. And what we see here,
I think
what stands out? Not many.
standout is basically like Palace versus Everton. Eze is back, so overall Palace should look good, should look more functional in terms of like offense or attack. They are doing good in defense, but I think inclusion of or return of Eze should actually improve or help them to improve. And even the zonal also shows that, right? They are like Everton is conceding chances in right flank where Eze or even Mitchell got 15 pointer last game week. So I think both are very good shout. Like if you are in hunt for any defender, Mitchell could be a good shout. If you're hunt for like any midfield, like as you said, right, the NATO replacement, Eze
Yeah,
could be another good shout too. So, but yeah, I think otherwise I don't see any other like Chelsea, Man City. They are playing each other, so I don't see any upside there at
yeah,
least. So
yeah. Perhaps if Man City goes down with 8 players, then Jackson could get another hat trick.
yeah,
Just a
yeah,
joke. Anyway,
yeah,
anyway,
absolutely.
no. Let's move. Team of the week. How does this team looks to you?
No, I think they pick themselves all the players, right? So we just talked about I think Watkins, Wilson, and Kitty. Mitoma. I mean, Brighton, we discussed last week as well that Brighton overall, I mean, offensively or attackingly, they are a little bit struggling, but Mitoma is always like whenever you see him playing, you feel like, oh my God, so exciting, right? So, yeah, I think in the next game also, I think is it, yeah, Sheffield United, right? So,
Yeah,
definitely, I mean, I think if Mitoma would have got some good returns or some decent return in previous game weeks, he could be a captaincy shout too, to be honest, this game week.
yeah,
Like Sheffield is so bad. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I think yeah, Gordon we talked, Bruno, Salah, Trippier, and Luka Dean. I think Villa overall versus Fulham, and Luka Dean actually is very good too. And Dalo, I think yeah, for Man United versus Fulham, I think if you pick one defenders, if like funds permit, definitely Dalo is a good shout. He is going forward and making lots of crosses, so I think it's a very good shout. So yeah, I mean, I
right.
think overall. these players are the players. Now we have to see, whichever we have and we get all right. So
Right. Okay, I think that's it for then. Thank you so much for joining, Epil Wrangler, and audience. I hope you enjoyed the show, and of course, we will be back after the international break to discuss more about the zonal weakness, but also we'll try and bring no transfer suggestion this week. So I hope you're not disappointed about that because I think there is quite a lot of defenders who are injured. So that's why we didn't suggest any of the forwarding options or any of the forward or midfielder options as the transfers. I think those are the priorities that you need attention. So that's that. But anyway, have a good international break. And before that, I hope you have a wonderful Game Week 12. Epil Wrangler, thank you so much once again for joining, and it was a pleasure having you once again. And of course, all the very best. Take care. Bye bye.
bye.